Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. It's time for another Heart of the Swarm broadcast, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another game with HelloKitty. He's going to be the red Protoss player over at the 12 o'clock position, and over on the left-hand side at the 9 o'clock position, we have his opponent. It is going to be JuanMD. Don't know who this is, but you know what? HelloKitty has been facing off against some of the best players in the world. He's been playing against, he's played against Gonzi, he's played against Terror Prime, he's played against HDRA, he's played against several very good players. So obviously, JuanMD, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here and say that you are, sir, a good Zerg player. And good Zerg players always 10 pull, actually that's a 9 pull. Good Zerg players always pull first, man. So here we go. It's time for some pull action. Now, this is a 4-player map, and luckily for Juan, he is setting his Overlord in the correct direction first, so he will not have to find or discover where HelloKitty's expansion is. And that's always going to be a nice benefit. Unfortunately for HelloKitty, it is a 4-player map, and he needs to scout with an early probe right now, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And it looks like this probe is not going on scouting duty. It made the pylon and went back home to mine instead of going to find out where the Zerg was. So unfortunately, HelloKitty has no idea what's coming for him. And there are Zerglings now being made out of the eggs. There is, actually not yet, the spawning pool isn't done quite yet, but once that spawning pool is finished, you can bet hell is going to break loose. Drone is being sent down to the bottom to check to see if there's an expansion down here, but this isn't going to be necessary. That Overlord is almost in range of the Protoss structures, and as soon as it is in range, these Zerglings know exactly where to go. You know what? This is actually a really cool build. The 9 pool opening allows Zerg to actually open up with 8 Zerglings instead of 6. The other pair of Zerglings come a little bit later, but overall this is probably one of the most devastating opening pool builds. And here we go. The gateway has been found. The Zerglings are being redirected over to the top. And HelloKitty needs to wall this off right now. He needs to make a pylon so desperately. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Zealot started yet because he doesn't have enough money. He's actually going double gas right now. So, oh, he's got to see those Zerglings right there. He must have saw it with the probe. He's got to wall this off. He's chrono boosting the Zealot right now. Has no way to block this off. And if this pylon goes down, then it could just be game. The Zerglings now going for the pylon, but Probe's trying to distract them. Now the Zerglings going back for the pylon again. Probe's trying to distract them. A couple of Probes have fallen. Only one, actually. The pylon! The pylon! The pylon goes down. Like I said, it is GG. And HelloKitty has to engage with his Probes. The Zealot arrives for ire, and it looks like HelloKitty is going to be able to stay alive just barely, but he took a lot of damage. 6 workers have gone down, and 7 workers have gone down already. Luckily, there were not additional Zerglings. And right now, Mr. Juan has got to be hitting himself in the face for not just going all in. If he had just went with the 9 pool, the straight Zerglings the whole way, did not try to expand, then this game would be his right now, because the pylon going down signifies, obviously, no more Zealots, and if he had just kept streaming in Zerglings, I think he could have probably won the game right there. But it's alright. I think he's done enough damage to kind of equalize, actually. I don't think he's actually ahead right now, because he killed off 6 workers, and remember, the Zerg has to sacrifice a number of his drones in order to go for that early pool build. Now, this probe is actually hiding in the back, and is HelloKitty planning to make some type of devious pylon or photon cannon or something? He doesn't actually have a forge, so he cannot do that, and he is out of there. So that probe is now on the way out, and we'll see what HelloKitty is going to do to recover from the early damage he took. He's going to go for a Stargate. And, you know, he certainly does like him some oracles, so maybe he's going to go for the oracle play one more time in this game. It's proven him, it's worked really well in the games where he's tried it against Terran. I think against Zerg, it's a little bit more hard to pull off, simply because Queens are innately good against air units, and every Zerg hatchery at the beginning of the game has a queen next to it, so it is kind of hard for the Oracle to pull off what it does against Terran, but it still can work, I think. Luckily, actually, good thing HelloKitty is walling this off. I'm not sure what took him so long, but he really needs to make sure this is completely sealed in case of another Zergling run by. You just never know against Zerg when it is going to hit you. And the Oracle, is it going to be an Oracle? It might be a Phoenix or a Void Ray. I'm not too sure yet. Meanwhile, these 2 Zerglings kind of wailing away on this pylon, but HelloKitty is not going to move this Zealot. He waits for the Stalker to come out instead and seals it off. And here we go. It is going to be an Oracle. And the Overlord is actually going to scout the Stargate, and it might just see the Oracle come out as well. So actually you can see the Oracle. If you look at the Stargate, it is the only building in existence that actually shows what is under construction. So Juan will notice here if he's paying attention, that that is indeed an Oracle flying out of the Stargate, and Oracle has arrived. So Happy Kitty now, I guess, is going to try to kill off some drones, but you know what? The Spore Crawlers are coming up, and so it's pretty unlikely these Oracles will get much damage done at all. He's going to try nevertheless, but we'll see what happens here. There is a Queen here as well. Don't forget, the Oracle is going to have to deal with the Spore Crawler. One drone, 2 drones have gone down, but nothing too serious. And like I said before, against Zerg, I do think it's a little bit harder to pull off. Don't forget, too, that Zerg can make a Spore Crawler as soon as spawning pool is finished. Terran require an engineering base, so it's kind of hard to pull off any air-based tactics against Zerg, I feel like. Harder, at least, than Terran. But Happy Kitty is going to expand right now, and that's a good idea. On this map, you typically want to take that expansion as soon as you can, and so he finally decides to go for it. We'll see what units he decides to continue making. He's actually still making Oracles. Now this, I don't think the Zerg is going to be expecting at all. Juan probably thought, all right, 1 Oracle, and that's probably going to be it. I'm not going to really worry about any more air units, but in fact, it is a trio of Oracles now, and Happy Kitty is going to actually be revealed by the Creep Tumor, so Juan now knows that there are at least 2 Oracles on the field, and he's probably just going to make additional Queens to deal with this. In fact, he's actually going for a Hydralisk Den right now, but the Hydralisk won't be out for some time. These Oracles could do some damage, but there is a Queen and a Spore Crawler there. But then again, never underestimate the power of the Pulsar Beam. Pulsar activate, and look at how fast that Queen takes damage, but the Oracles themselves are quite flimsy too. It looks like they're going to go for the Spore Crawler now. 1 Oracle is going to fall, but the Spore Crawler goes down. Very risky play right here from Juan, but he actually still has 2 Oracles alive, and the drones are now under attack. 8 drones have gone down already. And man, Oracles are just so devastating against workers. It looks like in total they're going to get 11 worker kills. You know, that's not too shabby. And this Oracle is actually going to kill off the Queen too, but it is going to run out of energy pretty soon here, but not, oh my god. All right, Happy Kitty and his Oracles are out of control. I mean, those 3 Oracles just did an obscene amount of damage. They killed 2 Queens, a Spore Crawler, and 17 drones. You've got to be kidding me. 3 Oracles are that damn strong. And I think just with that play, Happy Kitty is right back in this game, even though he went for a pretty delayed Nexus on this map. He's also got some Phoenix coming around as well. And here comes some Speedlings, but there is no way Juan is going to be able to break through this section with the sentries and another sentry coming in. Plus, the units already there. I highly doubt the Zerglings will be able to flood through. So far, so good for Happy Kitty. And look at this. Juan is gonna go for a Hydra Nidus attack, and so he's got a Nidus Worm coming up right now. But the problem is, how is he gonna get an Overlord into the Protoss, into the the Protoss main base when there's a Phoenix flying around? Actually, that Phoenix is now down to the south, so maybe he will be able to sneak an Overlord into the Protoss main base. If he can do that, then he might be able to Nidus some Hydras into the main base of the Protoss player Happy Kitty. But I don't know, man. This is going to be pretty hard for him to pull off, I feel like. He does have an Overseer, so he's got to find an open avenue, maybe right here, where the pylon and the pylon over here cannot see. There's just a slight amount of fog of war. If he can go there, that'd be the perfect time. But the Phoenix is not going to see the Overseer. Oh my god, that was situation critical right there. And oh no, the Nidus is coming. And I don't know why he flew the Overseer in, though, because it totally reveals that, you know, there's probably, I mean, that kind of attracts forces into that direction. He probably shouldn't have flown the Overseer in. He should have just made the Nidus and fly away. I don't know what he was thinking right there, but unfortunately that could have done a ton of damage. That could have been a game ender. Look at how many units the Zerg had ready to go. All the Speedlings and Hydralisks into the Protoss main base right now. I don't think Happy Kitty would be able to defend that without the use of a wall. So really a lost opportunity right there, but it looks like Juan is not going to give up. He's going to try to pound through the front door. Hydralisks do not have movement speed. They do have the range upgrade, though. That's going to help them get these buildings down. And it looks like the Cyber Core has fallen. No more Stalkers can be produced. And Happy Kitty's going to have to rely on Sentries and Oracles. He's brought the Oracles in. Pulsar Beams activating, and they're just so good against Hydralisks as well. Remember, Pulsar Beams are extra effective against light units. And it looks like all the Oracles are going to fall there, but they did their job, and I think Happy Kitty might have enough to hold on. If he retreats to his wall, where he's got 2 Photon Cannons waiting, he should be all right. And he needs a new cybernetic score, obviously, because he needs to make more stalkers right now, and more sentries too. He's only got 1 sentry, which is a precarious situation when his wall is not even existent. There is a potential leak that these Zerg units could run through. But it looks like Juan is a little bit spent on forces himself, probably not going to push it. He has a couple of spine crawlers and spore crawlers here. Not too sure what those are doing. Meanwhile, Phoenix still flying around on scouting duty. 1 Oracle is going to be recalled home. This is the guy with 12 kills, in fact. And here we go. Juan pushing up once again. He kills off an Oracle, which is the main threat to his Hydralisks. And now the Roaches and Hydras trying to do some damage here. Is an Immortal here at a perfect position to slay the Roaches. Gonna fall back just a little bit, but it is gonna get picked off. Unfortunately, it was blocked in by one of the Stalkers. Not a good situation at all. And Happy Kitty is able to hold on, though. Even though he lost that Immortal, he still just has those 2 photon cannons there, which are proving to be invaluable. 8 kills on this photon cannon and 4 kills on this one, really helping him hold steadfast right there at the ramp. And so far, I feel like Juan has really been pushing it, trying to end the game, but maybe he should think about expanding now, because time and time again, he has been shut down. And now that there's a Mothership Core there as well with potential time warps, I really do not think that attacking up a ramp of a Protoss player who's loaded with defensive units and structures is a good idea. So he is actually going to take a 3rd hatchery right now, and that's probably the right decision. Let's see what kind of upgrades he's got going back at home. Currently does have muscular augments and groove spine, so his Hydras are very, very heavily upgraded, but he doesn't have +1/+1 yet. He is about to have it momentarily, and in fact is going to be going for Swarm Hosts too. I do feel like Swarm Hosts are a pretty good backup to if you're going Roach Hydra, because the Swarm Hosts and their Locusts, they share upgrades with the Roaches and Hydras. Melee and not melee, but ranged and Carapace assist the Locusts immensely. So I do feel like Juan going for a Swarm Host here makes a lot of sense, and he's going for the upgrade as well, which effectively increases the range of the Locust. So I do like that strategy. Meanwhile, Happy Kitty going for Colossus, which is the right unit. If you're dealing with Swarm Hosts, you need Colossus. There's no other way. Well, you can go for Tempest as well. Actually, Tempest or any type of air unit can shut down Swarm Hosts. But if you're going to stick with ground, then the Colossus is an absolute requirement, because you have to try to laser down those Locusts before they get in range of your units. And that's how you can push Swarm Hosts away as well. So I'm glad for Happy Kitty that he is going for the Colossus and Extended Thermal Lance. That is going to help him quite a bit. Meanwhile, now Happy Kitty establishing a 3rd Nexus of his own. So both players here starting to stabilize after the shenanigans in the beginning of the game. But it looks like JuanMD is going to be making an attack here. He's got a creep highway spread all the way to the Protoss front door, and he's got Swarm Hosts in position. But the Extended Thermal Lance upgrade is just about 10 seconds away from finishing. So once that finishes, I do believe these 2 Colossus should be able to hold off the stream of Locusts. We'll see though. Here they come. The Locusts taking some damage, but obviously it doesn't matter because they are a free unit. But basically, all Happy Kitty has to do is stay back and continue to laser down these Locusts, and he should be all right. He might take some superficial damage on his shields, but the nice thing about Protoss is shields do regenerate. Although right now, Juan has synced up his Swarm Host, so they are now synchronized. They're going in as a massive pack, and that's a little bit more deadly, I think, in this situation. Do note there is a Spire coming up right now for Juan as well, so I think he's going to try to go for some Corruptors in order to deal with these Colossus, which will free up the ability for these Locusts to do the damage they need to do, because right now they are just getting lasered down. They're doing a little bit of damage, like I said, but it's nothing too serious, nothing Happy Kitty can't deal with right now. And a lot of Roaches and Hydras back here as well. We'll see if... What is Juan doing right now? He's actually unburrowing everything. I think he really wants to make sure that everything is synced up. And when you unburrow everything, you can time it all together if you burrow it all at once all the Locusts are ready to go. And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. This probe somehow made it through there, but it actually pulls all the Locusts away. A little clever trick, but it's not really going to do much because the Locusts have evolved Enduring Life. One Oracle gets completely eradicated by the Hydras, but it drops the Revelation before it goes down, which I believe will help reveal these Swarm Hoes. A couple of Time Warp Fields going down as well. The Roaches and Hydras pick off one Colossus. They're actually on a suicide mission, not sure where they're going. And meanwhile, the rest of the Roaches and Hydras were slowed down by the Time Warp, so they will not be able to continue advancing forward. Just checking this ability real quick. Unit or structure providing vision for the caster. So it does provide a select amount of vision around this area, but it actually does not reveal the Storm Host burrow underneath. That requires, I think that requires Revelation. The ability that Happy Kitty's Oracle used was Envision. It's a little confusing. Both of them are very similar. But we do have a Nexus coming up over here at the 3 o'clock expansion. Both players basically going for an extra expo apiece, so that one lone probe that snuck out was able to create a Nexus, and it almost died. Happy Kitty actually timed this probe perfectly, believe it or not. But here we go. It looks like Corruptors are in the fray. They are going to be able to take out these Colossus eventually, but most of the Zerg ground army is getting eradicated, so if the Zerg ground goes down, the Corruptors will not be able to pick off these Colossus. The Stalkers need to focus firing them down, but they're engaged right now with the Roaches and Hydras. Time Warp Field being used as well, but the Corruptors are pretty much successful at the end of the day. Although one Colossus is going to survive, I do feel like that was a success for Juan, even though he lost most of his Corruptors and he lost a lot of his Roaches and Hydras. Anytime you could limit the Protoss's Colossus count, I think that's a small victory for the Zerg. But we'll see how this plays out. Juan actually losing a lot of forces, so maybe not. Units lost right now reflecting JuanMD losing a little bit more than Happy Kitty did. And the other thing too is Happy Kitty did break the contain, which is a lot more valuable than anything else so far in this game. Breaking the contain allows Happy Kitty to protect the base down here and continue expanding as well. And now he can start to be the aggressor against the Zerg players. So this is, I think, a much bigger advantage for Happy Kitty in retrospect. So really good job for him so far. Juan forced to back off. Upgrades currently 2-2. The Protoss is pretty close behind as well. And both players now starting to rely a little bit more on the conventional technology that Protoss and Zerg typically use in this matchup. But then again, there is a Dark Shrine coming. So hold your horses, but we might be seeing some DT action momentarily here. And you know what? DTs against Zerg are typically pretty damn good. The only thing here is I'm not sure if it's going to be that effective in this game, because you have to remember Juan's got Spore Crawlers at most of his hatcheries. So I don't know if the DTs are going to be all that effective. The only hatchery that is exposed is the one all the way down here, and potentially the new one coming up right here. So we'll see what happens. There's actually a double fleet beacon coming right now. That is confusing. I don't know why you would make a double fleet beacon, but that's got to be a mistake. I don't know if you... There's Graviton Catapult, and then there's the Phoenix Anion Crystals. I definitely don't think you would need to make 2 fleet beacons for that. That's like equivalent to making 2 spawning pools to research metabolic boosts and adrenal glands. But yeah, that's definitely a mistake. And he did actually end up canceling the... No, he didn't. So he's going to have 2 fleet beacons. Oh well, redundant technology is always nice. Right now, Juan is actually settling down a little bit, not being as aggressive as he was before. We can see that it's still about the same resources lost. Just check the income, 65 to 60 to 75. So the Protoss just a little bit behind. Neither player has lost too many workers this game, besides the 17 that went down to that triad of oracles in the beginning of this game. But that might change in a jiffy, because there is a Warp Prism in Zerg airspace, or momentarily will be in Zerg airspace, and it can definitely do a lot of damage. We'll have to see. One Hallucinated Phoenix is also going to find one of the expansions over here, which should open up the pathway for a Dark Templar if he chooses to go that direction. But Juan is actually going to engage here once again. His Corruptors are doing quite a bit of damage, but the Roaches and Hydras are having a problem engaging under the effects of the Time Warp Field. Time dilation for the lose. Einstein's equations of special relativity apparently applying here to these Roaches and Hydras, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to stick around and fight, and it looks like they are going to be able to take out a lot of the Stalkers. There are some Tempests here, though, but it doesn't really matter. I think Juan might have enough to win this fight. There's one Colossus still remaining that is now in retreat. Meanwhile, a couple of Stalkers and whatnot, and a Warp Prism dropping off Zealots into the Zerg main base. And it looks like the Queen has fallen, so the Roach Den and Hydra Den may fall down as a result as well. I don't know how this Colossus took so much damage, but is still standing. But it is, in fact, still standing, and that is going to make all the difference when dealing with these Roaches and Hydras. but Happy Kitty will have to pull back and wait for additional reinforcements. Meanwhile, his Zealots still continuing to hack and slash their way through the Zerg main base, but a couple of roaches are there now. Meanwhile, the Colossus has gone down. It's like an infinite game of tug and war. Juan has pushed his way all the way to the Protoss third. But will he be able to do any real damage here? There's a couple of Dark Templars and he does not have an Overseer nearby, so he will have to pull away once again. So Happy Kitty makes another concerted effort to stand, but he's down to only 85 supply right now, which is obviously not good, especially since we have Broodlords about to be coming out on the field momentarily. Greater Spire is on the way, so that's not good for Happy Kitty. He does still have these two Nexi over on the right-hand side of the map, but I think in a couple of seconds here, Juan is going to discover where those hidden Nexuses are, or Nexi, and he will probably send the brunt of his army to take those out, rather than trying to continue attacking through this dead-end corridor, where there are nexuses that are basically expiring in minerals and gas. But hey, look at this! Transferring of workers, and for some reason, JuanMD completely misses it. He could have picked off like 15 or so harvesters if he was in position there. Unfortunately, they're a missed opportunity for the Zerg player. That really sucks. And now he's gonna see those probes transferring over, and he's like, why didn't I stick around and take those out? Bit of a mistake right there. And those probes are now gonna join these two Nexi and continue to generate minerals and gas for that section. Now it looks like Happy Kitty does have a Dark Templar over here, which is starting to hack and slash this hatchery down. So already got 6 worker kills of his own. And don't know why Juan isn't sending any forces to take that out. He needs to send an Overseer over there and save the hatchery. One reason why I think Juan, if you guys are wondering why he isn't sending his forces to attack these two Nexi, is because of the Mothership Core. At any moment, Happy Kitty can just recall his entire army to any of the Nexi that are under attack, and so that would make it pretty difficult for Juan to deal with that. But I'm still surprised he isn't pushing the situation. Why attack into this area here? He is going to take out the Mothership Core at the very least, but there's a time warp and there's a ramp here. I don't know about going down this ramp. I don't think it's a good idea at all. Although he is taking out all the Colossus. If he can pick up all the Colossus, then maybe he can go for this Nexus, but he's still going to blow through the photon cannons as well. Meanwhile, the Dark Templar did kill off this hatchery, and yeah, it looks like once again Juan is denied. Yeah, he kills off a lot of the Protoss army, but the problem here is he cannot get past the DTs and the photon cannons. Why not just go attack one of these two bases? I have no idea. Yeah, the Mothership Core can recall, but it can't recall forever. It can only do it once, and then it needs to regenerate energy. Then you can go attack another section, another Nexus. Plus, on top of that, right now, you know what? Happy Kitty doesn't even have a Mothership Core. It's already dead. So yeah, I think it's time to go attack one of these Nexuses, and he is going to go and do just that. There are a couple of DTs here. All he needs to do is make an Overseer, and he will be able to reveal that hidden and invisible threat. Look at the units lost tab right now, 30k and 28k. Both of these players have been at each other's throats this entire game, and the main Protoss army is being called down in order to assist the two Nexuses, or Nexi I should say. Will Happy Kitty be able to keep these two alive? There are two Overseers here. He needs to take out the Overseers. He's got Blink. He should focus the Overseers down. It looks like one is going to remain alive, but I believe Happy Kitty will have enough forces here in order to win this battle. It also does help that his forces are 3 weapons upgraded, although he only has 1 armor, and the Zerg army is at 2-2, so it is pretty close in terms of upgrades. Nevertheless, great hold right there for Happy Kitty, taking out the majority of that Zerg army. And it looks like right now, Happy Kitty thinking about making another expansion. He is currently on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. The Zerg is only on 1, 2, 3, 4 bases, so Juan right now is at a disadvantage. I think it certainly doesn't help the fact that he didn't save this hatchery. No idea why. I would have definitely sent an Overseer there a long time ago, but Broodlords Inc. And that is a lot of Broodlords. The Dark Templar is going to see those Broodlords. Ouch, what a terrible way to die. Infestinated, parasited by broodlings. And now what is Happy Kitty gonna do now that he sees a Broodlords? Well, thankfully he's got some Tempests in his army, and he's actually making Tempests now 2 at a time. So that's really good, because obviously Tempests are the hard counter to Broodlords. And now it looks like Roach is going down to the right side of the map. They're going to try to take out these 2 Nexi. If he can take out both of these, then JuanMD is going to be in business. And in fact, it looks like most of the Protoss army says, forget it, screw it. You can take those 2 out. I'm going for a base trade. So there you have it. HelloKitty doesn't have time to go save his 2 bases. He's going to let them fall. And I think this game is about to end in the next couple of seconds. Mothership Core tries to overcharge the Nexus, and the Nexus gets contaminated, but Contaminate does not prevent the Nexus overcharge ability, as you guys saw right there. A little interesting dynamic. But here we go. HelloKitty is pushing in to the Zerg main base. Most of the Zerg forces now being recalled home, but the Broodlords are so epically slow that it's going to take them a very long time to get back home and save the critical tech structures, which are now under attack. It looks like there will not be enough time to save the Hive. The Hive will fall, but now most of the Zerg army is back and in business. Will Juan be able to take out this army? It is a very close game right now. 159 supply to 143. It looks like the main battle is going to happen right now. The Colossus are in trouble. They cannot fight. Where are the Tempests? I don't know why HelloKitty didn't bring his Tempest here. They are just engaging random Broodlings on the ground, and those Tempests need to be fighting the Broodlords right now. That is, I don't know what they're doing right now. They need to be taking out these Broodlords. There is no other anti-air threat. And they should be focusing the Broodlords and taking them down. In response, Juan should be making Corruptors, but unfortunately, he just lost all of his tech structures. Every single one was grouped up in a cluster, and they have all gone down to this Zealot, Dark Templar assassination force. Meanwhile, it looks like Juan says, all right, forget it. I'm just going to go for your main base. Both players' innards, all their bases have been basically carved out completely, except for the Protoss player, I suppose, but his expansions over here on the right-hand side have been taken down. So both of them are running very low on money, running very low on units. It is a full-on base race, and will Juan be able to close it out here? He's sending all of his Broodlords and Roaches into the Protoss homeworld. Meanwhile, his home has been eradicated. It looks like a squad of DTs also took out a potential new hatchery as well. So Juan has no chance of re-macroing in this game, I feel like, and now the Tempests are just using their maximum range to engage the Zerg army, and unfortunately for Juan, he has no way to stop the Tempest. I think actually the Tempest could just be the game ender here. Look at how much damage they do to Broodlords. Almost insane. 85 versus Massive. It's almost like they were designed to work against, basically against capital airships. Look at it's 85 versus Massive against air units. So the Tempest obviously very good against the Broodlords, and Juan now in a lot of trouble. He just lost another hatchery, and it looks like he has left the game. No GG called. So HelloKitty is your victor, ladies and gentlemen. Really well played game right there. 131 to supply to 70 was the final score at the end. But really a great game, a lot of action there, and a pretty fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed. And for now, this is HD StarCraft. I am signing out. I'll see you guys in the next cap.